All right. So moving on to the next topic, it looks like Diane Keaton has passed away. We do love Diane Keaton. She was an amazing person. We'll go ahead and do 4 cards on her. I think it was some type of, I don't know, I feel like maybe she had a choking incident or something like that. But I'm just going to throw 4 cards on Diane Keaton and see how she's doing. Ooh, 4 of Cups for Diane Keaton. She was a very, what I can say about Diane Keaton, the first thing I feel when I go into her energy, I don't want to take that medication. You can't make me take my medication. I am a stubborn old woman and I'm stubborn in a way where I'm going to do things my way and I'm going to refuse to do anything that I don't want to do. And if this is the woman who has the home nurse and the home nurse is trying to get you take your medication for your heart. No, I'm done with that. No. This is a rebellious non-compliant patient. So my first feeling when I go into this energy is that Diane Keaton was chronically ill at the time she passed and may have had a home nurse or some kind of medical treatment that was going on that required her to receive medical assistance in her home. And the other thing that I feel when I go into this energy is that she was argumentative or difficult towards the end of her life and may have been rejecting or refusing to take her necessary medications. Maybe she felt they were making things worse. So this is new information that I hadn't thought of, I hadn't seen. She was opposed to the Queen of Pentacles. This woman, it almost feels like Diane Keaton was fighting and refuting, no, I will not take my applesauce, right? It's that kind of, and this Queen of Pentacles, take your meds. And then, oh my God, now she's starting to have a reaction. I mean, I need to call the ambulance. I cannot handle this patient. That's what this looks like. I think she just wanted to be left alone, Diane Keaton. I think that she was very unhappy, and she may have had some kind of congestive heart condition or her heart was impacted. I'm feeling the heart area. But we have here the images of refusing the drink, her being in opposition to the Queen of Pentacles, a dark-haired woman, may have been her nurse practitioner. A fear of being abandoned, a fear of being in the cold, a fear of exile. So maybe she felt like, towards the end of your life, you often feel like you're alone. And then she has this cardiac event. The clarification over this, she felt a constriction in her chest area. The Eight of Swords, if you're looking at the physical aspects of the Eight of Swords, is that the person will often feel congestion in the chest. Constriction in the chest, I often get congestive heart failure with this type of a patient. Congestive heart failure, or I will often get constriction because of pneumonia or something in the chest. Things took a turn for the worse relatively quickly. 1 minute the patient may have been stable, the next minute they weren't. Eight of Wands is rapid change and conflict. Excuse me. I got a frog in my throat. It's rapid change and conflict. Hopes and fears to be victorious. And then the final outcome is, honestly, I think she was a non-compliant patient. I think that she had chronic illness. She was a non-compliant patient. Just feels to me like they're writing the report here. This is like posthumous report. There's they say no criminal investigation because it was not a criminal death. The death was not criminal caused. I couldn't figure out why they were saying, well, is there going to be a criminal investigation? I couldn't figure out why they were saying it, but now I look at these cards, I see why. Because if you're the nurse and you've got a non-compliant patient who's sitting there saying, no, leave me alone. I will not take my meds. And you're like, you got to take these meds. And oh my God, you're putting me in a situation now. Oh my God, my patient. You're going to be calling your supervisor. You're going to be filing a report saying the patient refuses to cooperate. You've got to watch your tuchus so that you don't get sued by family members. She had a daughter, for example. Her daughter's going to come in and sue you, right? So how my feeling goes when I look at these cards is that there was a refusal to comply with taking of the medication. She felt constricted in her chest. She was very, very uncomfortable. She might have been disorganized and felt like the nurse was causing the problem. No, that stuff is the cause. No, this is the stuff that's helping you. So we have this conflict. Eight of Wands can be a conflict, strife, and it can also be a situation that happened really, really quickly, some kind of situation with a dark-haired woman, right? She had a feeling of being abandoned, perhaps towards the end of her life. Five of Pentacles is to be in exile. Perhaps she felt like, it's a terrible feeling to feel you're dying alone. And then we have this medical condition event that happens, possibly a heart attack or something like that. And then whose ass is on the line? How did your patient die? So now we've got, shoot, I did everything in my power. She pushed away the medication. She threw out her applesauce. I couldn't restrain her. Right? So then you've got the expert is going to have to go and answer all these questions about how this patient died on her watch. And that enters the Eight of Pentacles, which is the master coming in and having to write the report. So that is where my head goes as I look at these cards. This is something I've noticed working with seniors in hospitals, in hospice, is that they often become disoriented and confused and paranoid as part of their condition and begin to believe that the healthcare providers are trying to kill them and giving them poison and everything else. And if you don't get that medication into them, particularly if they have a serious heart condition or something like that, if they're refusing to take the medication, that in and of itself can induce a heart attack, particularly if you're talking about something like a beta blocker. Yeah, so that's what we see there. Okay.